Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that if you're returning. How you doing? What we're going to be talking about today is head on swivel, ladies. Okay, please trust your gut, trust your intuition, know your surroundings at all times. Okay, when you're shopping by yourselves. Okay, whatever the case may be. This is a warning that is going out to all of us, even, older ladies, younger ladies. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're young or old. It doesn't matter what situation you're in. It does not matter. Okay. It doesn't matter if you're single. It doesn't matter if you're married. It doesn't matter. Okay. There is, potentially dangerous people out there, and you have to be so careful, right? And I've actually encountered this myself. So, I think that you can never be too careful. I never go out by myself ever. So, you really have to just know everything. And I know, it's sometimes like when we talk about this, it seems like we're beating a dead horse. Never when it comes to our safety. Never. You could just walk into a store and someone could follow you. You know what I mean? And when you trust your gut, what do? But this is just a public service announcement to women, moms, grandmoms, aunts, young, old, doesn't matter. Please be vigilant when you're out alone, especially out alone with your young children. You can never be too safe, and always, always, always trust your gut.
Okay, so I want to share something that just happened to me this morning at Target. I was in there in the front of the store, like the little dollar area, just looking around, shopping. I had put two things in my buggy, and this man comes up behind me and says, "Oh, you're so beautiful." And so I respond like, "Oh, thank you," just like normal. And thought we were going to carry on. And he kind of circles, loops the little dollar area and comes back around to me and says, "Are you single?" And I say, "No, I'm married." And he's like, all right. And walks off. So I'm thinking, okay, whatever. I'm going to kind of keep my eyes on this guy and kind of watch him from afar. Not quite sure why I got that gut feeling, because most of the time I would just be like, "Oh, thank you," whatever. But I felt like I needed to be hyper aware of his whereabouts instantly. So I'm casually strolling the store. I'm still in the very front of the store. I pass by the little girls area, and I kind of walk through the section a little bit, and I go over to where the jewelry and little bracelets are, and I'm talking to the baby, and I'm like, "Oh, look how cute." And I notice every single time I look up, the guy's in the background, he's a few feet away. I can't reach out and touch him, but he's in visible sight, and he's looking dead at me. And I'm like, fuck, I think this guy's following me. So I immediately call my husband, tell him what's going on. I'm still in the same area of the store. I didn't want to walk too much or walk too deep into the store, because I was already just getting a bad feeling. So I call my husband. He says, "You need to go up to security, tell them what's happening." And most women know, you don't want to make a scene, and you don't want to be wrong, and you don't want to be dramatic or whatever, or accuse people of things. So I was hesitant, and so I walk out of the little girl section. I walk over to where the beauty stuff is, women's makeup and stuff. And I'm over there just still on the phone, just pretending to shop and look at stuff. Same thing. Still walking around the store. Every time I look up, right there at me, dead at me. So I proceeded to take my husband's advice, and I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna go tell security or people at the front, whatever, over at exchanges and returns. So I go over there, and I go up to the guy, and he's like, "Hey, you here for a pickup?" And I was like, "Oh no, I actually think I'm getting followed." And he walkie talkies, and he's like, "I got you." And so I waited there momentarily for a few minutes, and the guy that was following me, I noticed that he's walking towards the entrance of the store, and he can see that I'm up talking to staff at Target. So I go, so I see him and I say to the guy that's standing there, I'm like, that's him. That's him. He walks out of the store, the guy following me, he walks out of the store and loops and walks directly back into the front of Target. Like literally walks up. Okay, they are not joking when they say that 3 minutes goes by so fast. So where I left off is the guy comes out of the exit, comes back through the entrance and like loops back in, walks back into the store. So then that's when I say like, okay, that's him. So as that's happening, the security guard finally comes up to me and I'm like, hey, and he's like, hey, and I still have like a couple things in my car and I look at him and I'm like, can I just need to go? Like, can you walk me to my car? Like, I'm not trying to continue shopping. Whatever. I'm just trying to leave at this point. Leave safely at this point. So he's like, of course, like that's my job. Of course I'll walk you to your car. So as I'm walking to the car, he walks me out. I go to my car. As I'm opening the door to buckle my daughter in, the guy comes back out of Target for the second time, empty-handed, nothing. And this is all happening within like a matter of like seconds. So the guy comes back out, walks to his car, which is parked directly beside my car. When I pulled in, nobody was beside me, and this guy happens to park beside me. And like I said, this is happening very quickly. So as I'm in the car buckling in my daughter, he gets in his car and speeds off. Like, what? My main takeaway from all of this is please, 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 please trust your gut. Trust your intuition. It will save you potentially. It's there to protect you, and so I'm just really glad that I was like, not naive to this, and that I've been, my dad, the one thing my dad has always said to me is, keep your wits about you. Don't be so naive. Make sure you're aware of your surroundings. I was obviously there with my daughter. I guess he felt like I was an easy target and that I was vulnerable. So I'm just really glad that I did the right thing. I'm glad that my husband encouraged me to do the right thing. But yeah, it just kind of ruined the day. Like after that, I was going to take my daughter to the park and I was like, well, great. I don't want to be at the park alone with my daughter now. So yeah, that's the main takeaway. Just be safe. Keep your wits about you. And yeah, that's my message for the day.
And I know sometimes, after watching those videos, okay, that actually happened to her. We can get distracted, right? We're so distracted. We're looking, whether clearance items or, in bins, and we're looking, right? Do you ever get so distracted you completely forget your surroundings? I've done that. I have. And then, you don't know who's around you. Do you ever get that distracted? Because I have. So, first thing, if you ever get that distracted, then you notice. Because you know that side eye, you notice. Okay? If you ever notice anybody, or if somebody weird comes up to you and they just say, gosh, you're pretty. Arm's length, man. You know what I mean? Thanks, but go. Right? And if they come back and they're persistent, be like, listen, married, right? Ring on the finger. Okay? And at this point, I think if I was alone, I would just up and go. I would leave. I wouldn't care how full my cart was. I would go. But first, I think I would do as she did. I would find a male employee, security, whoever, and have them take me to my car. Because you don't know if that nut job or that creepo would follow you out to your car. Because this is very uncomfortable, especially in today's society. You make a mental note, right? Make a mental note, observe, look, what does he look like? Remember what he looks like. What kind of car does he drive? Remember that car. What kind of clothes was he wearing? Any distinct features? Birthmark, big nose. What color hair? Was it shaggy hair, curly hair, straight hair, long hair, medium length hair? So, just always remember, even if it's something so small, You just never know. And even if you pick up your cell phone and you're like, I don't care who I call, right? Even if it's somebody that you never talk to, just call them. You're like, this is what's going on, and I just need you to be on the phone with me right now, okay? That person on that other end of that line, they will understand. And they will sit on that phone with you, and they will talk to you so you can calm down, get your wits together, and leave that store. So, this has happened, and this happens and continues to happen every single day in all parts of the country, in all parts of the world. Now, no matter whether the guy in this story was simply being creepy or had a more sinister intent, there are several steps that people can take if they find themselves in similar situations and want them to end fast, right? Put a barrier between you and this potential person, right? Familiarize yourself with your phone's emergency functions. Understand how your brain reacts to traumatic situations. Regardless of how one resolves this issue, for people like the woman in the video, for example, taking extra steps can bring greater peace of mind when facing potential dangerous situations. You just never know who's around you, what can happen, where you're at. Doesn't matter. You just never know. So why not be safe, right? Head on a swivel, like we always say. Know your surroundings, like we always say. But trust this. Trust your gut, right? Trust that mom intuition that we all have, right? All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'll see you in the next one, okay? You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping, and as always, fearless. Ciao.